We are just 3 days away from Brownlow night in a very even Brownlow this year, you could say.
Yeah, yeah,
There's probably very close to a three-way tie in
yeah,
in
yeah.
hypothetical world. So today's video is a little bit different. We're going to be going over our predictions for the Brownlow. There'll be some player highlights in there as well, with also going over who we would have picked as rising star. Obviously, that's gone to
Yep,
Jackson, but who we would have picked.
yep.
Goal of the year and mark of the year, with the mark of the year candidates being nominated.
Yep.
So I guess we'll get into it. And I think we'll start with the least of the four being Rising Star. So who would you have picked as your Rising Star for 2021?
Um, to start off the season, we saw some good, like Errol Goodman from Sydney. He jumped at the block, and everyone thought that he might have snagged it. But um, Luke Jackson came into the Melbourne side, and he kind of just came over and took over the league in with his youth. He's just exceptional, forward ruck. Um, he did everything, to help out Max Gorn. So in all seriousness, I would generally would have put Luke Jackson as my winner had it not been announced, but it was very tight. As I said, there's some other close candidates behind him, but yeah, Luke Jackson has the Collingwood supporter with his two teeth knocked out. He would have got the rising star for me, regardless. Who would you have? Would you have put the same or?
Yeah, I would have had Lukey Jackson. He averaged the 13 disposals, the 3 marks, almost a goal, 2 tackles as a big is whatever, 10 hit outs. So he's looking like he can be a very, very solid
Yeah,
option once Gorn
yeah,
retires in 3 or so year times, I'd say, given he's
yeah,
29,
yeah,
30. Um,
yeah,
he was doubted after the season he had last year, being the number 3 pick overall in 2019. He only got the 6 games into his bag, but this year
yeah,
he's come back, and I think I think he's taken a step completely from his 2020 6 games that he
yeah.
played. He
I
only
could agree.
missed the 1 game for the whole season.
Yeah,
So very, very
yeah,
solid for a second year player. Um, yeah, can't really fault him.
yeah,
Now we'll
yeah.
move on
Really cool.
to, I guess we'll go mark of the year next. Now the 3 finalists have been named. We have Jack Rewald from Richmond, Shea Bolton from Richmond, and Tim O'Brien from Hawthorn. So ranking it in 3, 2, 1, with one being the winner, who was your mark of the year?
Number two and number three for me were very, very close. But at number three, I decided I'm going to go Shea Bolton at number three. Very good mark in the goal, so they got up really high. A great mark. Number two, Tim O'Brien. Another great mark. He got up there, got above, I think, about 2 players, and did a face plant. Yeah, it's another great mark. But at number one, it's for me, it's hard to top Jack Real. Going back with the flight, turning your body midair. It was a spectacular mark. Courage, had it all. So yeah, I feel like he's going to be the standout winner. Yeah, who have you decided to go with?
I had the exact same 3, 2, 1. Jackie Rewalt, bit of his cousin like Mark, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
With Nick way
we
back
saw
in
it.
the day.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was. I don't think you can really top it due to the complexity of it. It was a
yeah,
very, very good mark going back with the
yeah.
flight.
Now on to goal of the year. We saw many, many good goals throughout the year. We didn't know who was going to win it up until the last few rounds, until our winner kicked it. But who was your winner for goal of the year?
I feel sorry for whoever has to
So
nominate
do I.
this. It's
So do
not an
I. It
easy
was
decision. Um, Look, I think there's one standout winner, but there's obviously three that are probably very close.
Yeah.
One that pops to mind was Cody Waitman. Another is Mitchy Duncan's Torp at GMHBA
Yep.
against West Coast in a abysmal quarter by the Eagles at the halftime siren. And another one goes to Bontempelli against West Coast in front of an empty stadium in
Yep.
Perth. Sort of the goals are here, and he ran that way, ran the other way to the goals on the boundary line, kicked it straight through on his correct foot. But my number one has to go to Sarong of the Fremantle Dockers against the Eagles once again. As Hutto said, so wrong, so right. So he's got to be probably goal of the year for me.
Yeah. I've gone with the same just because not just in terms of the goal, but in terms of the circumstance. They were only up by a goal, West Coast were on the charge, and he picked it up, took a step, and he was very close, about a meter inside the boundary line, and managed to pop through a banana. So I think anything beats that. It was very tight. I think it was out of bounds, but not going to talk about that. But I think he's going to get the winner. Very good goal and
very good.
What honorable mentions. Now on to the biggest award of the year, the Brownlow medal. Who we'll go from fifth to first. We'll work our way up. So who have you got sliding in at the number 5, Posy?
I think the top 3 are almost a lock, as in they're going to finish top 3. And then 4 and 5 could argue. Really, it's anyone's game. I don't think there's a clear-cut favourite. A lot of saying wines, but stick around and you'll see what we have. So number 5, I had Carlton Blues young superstar, Samuel Walsh, he played all 22 games this year for the Blues. So very, very handy. He's going to be an absolute superstar in years to come. He had a bit of a terrible year last year and he was slammed by critics. But he's back well and truly. He averaged a 29.8 disposals, very, very close to 30. Half a goal a game, and some of his goals were just outstanding. He averaged the 4.5 tackles, which is very good. The 4.5 clearances, 3.9 inside 50, so 4 inside 50s. It was a very, very good season and a bounce back season for Sam Walsh of the Carlton Footy Club. Yeah,
for sure. I had to go the same. I had to go with Sam Walsh. As you said, it was very close, but he just had a breakout year in terms of his game style. He's going to be one of the faces of the comp in years to come, without a doubt. And easily, in my eyes, good 3-4 years down the track, maybe even less, he's going to be a Brownlow medalist, still have one around his neck. So this year I've got him coming at number 5. Who did you have at number 4?
Now, Jack Steele of the St Kilda Footy Club was my number 4. Again, an elite season. He backed off last year, you could say. Obviously, the shorter quarters. He averaged the 29 touches, almost 5 marks, half a goal again. But this is a stat that really, really stood out. 8.4 tackles a game for a ball-winning midfielder, you could say, is incredible.
Yes.
It's very, very solid. And he had the 6 clearances and 5 inside 50s a game as well. So, look, nothing really to fault for Steele. I can potentially see him in the top 3 because there's no one else at St Kilda to steal his votes in a way. I think it was the club wins that probably holds him out of the top 3, though. Did you have Steele or did you have someone else?
I had to go with Steele too. Obviously could have switched. I reckon I might switch throughout the night, Steele and Walsh, but as you said, he's going to a great season from the Saints, but he's just going to keep on improving. He's only 25. So he's at his peak, and he will be for the next 3 or 4 years. And he's probably the leader that the Saints need. In my opinion, he's a great leader from the front. I've just saw him multiple times this year, and he said that the 8 tackles a game was just ridiculous. It's just absurd. You think he broke the tackles record throughout the year? I don't know which one, but yeah, he's a great player, and no doubt he should finish in the top 5. And along with Walsh, and next couple of 2 years down the track, he might be in contention for bringing up the top prize. But if he keeps improving his game, I would not be surprised if we see him up the top.
Very good. Now, your number 3 spot, the 3-2-1, we all had the same players again, just a bit muddled up. So who did you have with, if there was, a bronze medal for the Brownlow in 2021?
Now, this one kind of probably controversial, but I've gone with Ollie Wines at number 3. Yeah, it's about the 32 touches, 4.5 tackles a game. Played all 22, and he's played all 24. Also, both in finals, and he ranked second in disposals, 7th in total inside 50s. Third in disposals per game. Just elite. He has been very underrated for most of his career, and I think he should start finally getting recognition he deserves. He ranked 12th in clearances, 3rd in handballs per game, 3rd in total handballs. So hey, he's just elite. He was under the radar a lot. But he just always came out. He averaged his high this year was 43 touches against Hawthorn, and yeah, absolute ball magnet. You don't see him when you're at games, you don't see him get the ball, but yes, he always chips in and gets the most effective disposal that the Power need. Him and Boak's twilight of his career. He will no doubt follow in Boak's legacy throughout the midfield and another very solid season from Sir Ollie Wines. Now, who did you have? I saw you jumbled it up, but who did you put in?
Now, this is controversial to you, but I had Clayton Oliver at my number 3 spot. Now, personally, this 3-2-1, I'm not locking in. If I had to bet on it, I'm not going to. It's going to go either way. This is just what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking Oliver at 3. He's only 24.
Yeah.
He just turned 24. This man has endless potential. He averaged the 31.5 disposals throughout his 24 games so far, which includes the 2 finals. About half a goal, 5 tackles, 7.5 clearances, 5 inside 50s. He was a super coach lock in your team.
Yeah.
Averaged the 123 super coach. He ranked 1st in total contested possessions, 1st in total stoppage clearances, 2nd in clearances per game. He's just everywhere.
He was.
And that's why Melbourne are probably my pick to win next week. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the Brownlow. I just think the only thing holding him back is the fact that he plays for Melbourne, and there is players like Petrarca and Gawn and things like that to take the votes off him. That's why. So who did you have at number 2? We're down to the final 2 in the race for the 2021 Brownlow.
At number 2, the runners-up position, I had Marcus Bontempelli. He averaged 27 touches a game, 4 marks, 5 tackles, 5.5 clearances. Obviously, the AFL Players Award MVP. He's just elite. He's very young. I think he's 26, turning 26 in a couple months' time. He's just got a huge future ahead of him. We knew he was going to be a superstar from the start as soon as he got drafted number 4th in 2013. We all knew that his time will come around, and here it is. He is just elite. There's no other word to describe him, but just an absolute superstar of the competition. He does it week in, week out. He He kicks goals when you need him. That he does all the hard stuff in the midfield, puts his body on the line, and he's just so clean with the footy. He watch Bulldogs games and he rarely misses a target. He's that left boot of his is just absolutely elite.
Lethal.
Yeah, he's about 105 fantasy points a game too. So yeah, nothing but elite, and it was very stiff to me to miss out on number one. But yeah, who did you have in at number two?
I had your number 3 in Wines. He was a standout player in the competition. I don't think he can top Bond personally, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. He was just all around it. Ball magnet for the Port Adelaide Power, and he's contracted for another 5 seasons. So Port have got a lot of footy in him. They need to use him wisely. Yeah, I can't wait to see what he can develop into over the next 2 or so seasons while he's still in his prime. He could be a very dangerous footballer.
For sure. Now, coming in at number one, my Brownlow medalist for season 2021 is Sir Clayton Oliver. Also, it was very tough for me to split Oliver and Bontempelli, but in my eyes, it feels like Oliver had the better season. As I said, he averaged to 31.5 touches, 5.5 tackles, about 5.5 inside 50s, 7.5 clearances. He was just elite in my eyes. He, how you said, ranked third in disposals, first in total contested. He was just did everything for Melbourne. He's only 24, so this is just the start of what's going to be a big prime. As you said, went over before, he's just an absolute superstar, and that's why I think Melbourne will win the flag. He just does every bit of it. He goes up forward, he kicks goals, he does stuff in the midfield, he puts his body on the line, rarely misses a target too. He's always clean with his touches, and he's just so exciting to watch. Obviously, he had 38 touches. That was his season high. Kicked 10 tackles in a game, 13 clearances in a game. I believe that was that game against Adelaide where he went absolutely absurd. He had the 204 fantasy that day. He had 13 clearances, 10 tackles, 3 goals. That day he just went off the charts, and he was just absolutely elite. So that's who gets my number one. Now, who is your Brownlow medalist this year?
You probably figured it out by now, but I went with Marcus Bontempelli, as you said, the number 4 pick back in 2013. He just gets better and better every season, doesn't he?
He does.
He's averaged 15, 21, 24, 22, 21, 26, 20, and 26. So as we see, he just slowly rises up per season. He obviously averaged the goal as well, which is something we haven't seen out of these 5 players yet. They've all averaged about half a goal. His tackling probably did drop off a little bit this year, but he was still everywhere when you needed him. As you said, his lethal left boot is... It's one of the best in the comp, especially for such a big midfielder that he is. He's almost ruck position, but he's playing over. He's just an incredible player.
Yes.
And that's why he comes in at number 1.
Very good.
What's going to be a very, very interesting Brownlow night.
A very exciting count. It's going to come down to easily the last round.
Being this close for quite some time, if I'm going to be honest.
Actually, Neil won it by about 10 or so votes in the year before.
In a shortened season.
So...
could we see a 3-way tie?
I wouldn't mind saying that, but it's going to be an exciting count, that's for sure.
I think that wraps it up. So comment down below what your Brownlow predictions are, as well as your season awards. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe for more content in the lead up to the 2021 Grand Final over the next 6 or so days. So thank you, and we'll catch you then.
See ya.